HarperCollins presents The Neighbours by Emma Babbington, read by Nicolette Chin. Before. Meredith, January 1989. That summer, Meredith watched their house every night. She watched their comings and goings, the dinner parties they threw, the evenings spent watching telly with the windows thrown wide open, and the real and canned laughter drifting across the road to where she stood, underneath the fig tree. And throughout those warm Sydney evenings, she learnt the family inside was everything hers wasn't. They had an abundance of friends, enjoyed light entertainment and game shows on the TV, never ate with dinners on their knees in front of it, and rarely, if ever, before 8:30 at night. They were, Meredith concluded just a few days into her observations, a sophisticated family, but also a boisterous one, full of love and laughter and fun. She was wildly envious. They were also quite obviously theatrical. Meredith felt as though she was watching a performance, as the parents frequently gesticulated as they spoke, the father often standing up, pacing or stabbing at the air when he was in the midst of an impassioned exchange. The mother, meanwhile, was exotic and beautiful in a way that transfixed Meredith. She had a way of throwing her head back when she was laughing and lightly touching her sternum, which appeared sophisticated and almost balletic. Meredith studied how the mother would position herself by the window when she smoked a cigarette, but appeared not to notice or care when the smoke billowed back inside. She seemed so free and without everyday concerns. Then Meredith would watch the daughter and try to imagine herself in the girl's place. As she stood under the fig's knotty branches that spread out across the road and were filled with feasting bats during these summer nights, Meredith would picture herself sitting in the girl's spot at the dining table. She would imagine what it would be like when the father placed a hand on her own shoulder and gave it a gentle squeeze, or the mother smiled fondly in her direction, or beckoned her over for a kiss before she disappeared upstairs to her cozy bedroom. It would be lovely. And as she stood there, sometimes for up to an hour, sometimes for just a few brief minutes, Meredith would breathe in the sweet scent of rotting figs scattered on the pavement below, while the noisy squawks above filled her ears, and would will herself to cross the road. All she needed was to summon the courage to knock on the front door, to lift the shiny brass knocker and tap, 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 until one of them opened it and, smiling, stepped to the side and gestured her in. Because once she managed that simple action, Meredith was almost certain the family would welcome her into the fold and into their lives with open, loving arms. Then they would listen to what she had to say, and surely make it all better. Chapter 1. Liv. Thursday the 30th of January, 2025. Liv watches the immovable dog. Sophie is doing her usual trick of lying diagonally, almost splayed out in the open doorway, so half her body's inside the house, the rest on the veranda. Liv gives her belly a gentle nudge with her bare foot, but the Labrador's head sinks to the ground and her eyes slowly close. It is time for her morning walk, but Sophie is old and tired, and it seems she has already done her business, so now has no impetus to rouse herself and go out into the already scalding hot day. "Come on, time for a walk," Liv says, but she doesn't sound convincing to even her own ears. And the dog appears to be asleep, and really, Liv can't blame her. It is one of those unbearably muggy Sydney summer mornings, when the air feels heavier with moisture than oxygen. Tropical downpours on and off during the night have done nothing to lower the heat, and Liv's work clothes, shorts and a synthetic t-shirt suitable for the physio clinic, already feel hot and scratchy and are sticking to her damp skin. A door creaks at the end of the long, dimly lit corridor of the single-story terrace, and Liv turns to see Gracie emerge from her room, wrestling with her tote bag, pushing her laptop inside and not looking up as she heads towards Liv and the door. "Sorry," she says. "I took her out for a pee earlier." Liv wants to remind Gracie that they'd all agreed not to do that, unless they had time to take the dog for a proper walk, but something about her daughter's stiff
Sample complete. Ready to continue?